as everything is catching up. Okay, so we're live in Restream. Now we wait until the gram of the Insta picks up and the Facebook.
So this is why every time you're live and I'm commenting, you can't see me commenting, right?
Well, no, there's a chat section, but Instagram doesn't get the chat section here. So I do go between screens.
Okay.
But usually I'm too involved to like also start like answering and typing.
Sure.
So yeah, so I do see the comments. I'm too not all over. I'm not
It's not a
concentrated.
priority.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're live everywhere. Now people can wait 20 more seconds. So I can add that we're here.
I bet you this was a skill set you never thought you would learn. Wasn't even on your radar. You're like, how can I be live on so many platforms at once?
Well, and the thing is that because like my first podcast was in the top 5% worldwide within 2 years, and then I got sued, right? So I never went live, and now like things have changed.
Yeah.
I can't edit the live on Facebook. There we are. Okay, I'll edit later. Okay, we're live on the Instagram. We're live on the Book of Faces, on the Twitter. We're live everywhere. Hello, Franceska.
Hi,
hello, everyone.
We are live everywhere.
This is going to be on Spotify, on the Apple afterwards. Everyone, this is Rich and Hydrated. We have one rule. We have two rules at Rich and Hydrated. Whenever we say Rich and Hydrated, we hydrate. And we create like this magical portal of hydration all together. I think that's where magic happens.
Amen. Because nobody likes the crusty raisin.
Nobody gets rich as a raisin. Like, no.
Absolutely not.
And the second part is this is no delusion. So if you see me yell at the dogs and like pause and go yell at the dogs, it happens. If you have your cat jump in front of because you have like a model cat, dude. So we are gonna go into everything, but you are the whole like beauty of beauty. Like you're the Dubai billboard, and then you have like a model looking cat.
I have two actually, and they're rescues. So they used to be just, street rats, and now they've lived on multiple continents, so they're living a really good life.
They live better than most people.
Yeah.
And we love that for them.
Yes, absolutely. Siamese cats, you can never go wrong.
Oh my God, they're so pretty. Again, they're just like majestic. Like you can tell they pose.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They like bewitch the camera. So Franceska, American born.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna go into childhood. Like the big American born, Dubai, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Cigar seller, model on billboards.
Yeah.
Business coach, human design business coach.
Mm-hmm.
Adoption system, foster system. That's the word, right?
Yeah.
Poverty, now filthy rich.
Yeah. And don't forget the 7-figure floral business that was in there too. So,
oh shit. What do we put that one? That's in between Dubai and Germany?
Yeah. So that was, post modeling career, before coaching career, but essentially life of a 3-line. So anyone who's listening to this thinking, you know what, life is just done for me. It has to look this certain way. I went and got this degree, or I've had this job, or this is my career. I'm going to I don't know, retire in 20 years. Please know, like, that is just a belief. You're telling yourself you can literally start over any day, and it's literally change your thought, change your life. It really is that simple. But this is the life of someone that has a 3-line or a 6-line. Like, we are just embracing all different roles, living all different lifetimes within one life.
Okay, we have to half of my audience is like, what the fuck are you talking about? So we're just gonna do a little caveat before we're gonna dive into all the chapters, y'all. And y'all hearing it from me, the most fucking skeptic of the skeptics, right? So Franceska is my human design coach. And I could fucking hear y'all roll your eyes behind the fucking screens. Like, I heard you roll your eyes. Hear me out. I don't do no fucking, cowgirl in the microwave and Gatorades and no personality stuff until I like to yell, yo, I'm a triple Capricorn, but I'm a manifestor, and everyone goes like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then I started doing a closer proximity coaching with Franceska, and I'll go like, oh, I'm a 1-3 line. She's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So there's a lot of this that makes sense, and then I started going down the rabbit hole. So this is the thing, when I got exposed to human design, I got exposed to it on a very like superficial astrology level, which annoys the shit out of me. It's like, oh great, another fucking crutch that everyone's going to be fucking using. Great, the Victim Olympics has arrived with new titles. Like that's how it felt. Then I read like a book about manifestors. I'm like, these people are the weakest of the fucking weakest with their urges, and between urges we can Netflix binge and fast food. I'm like, no fucking way. And then Franceska showed up, and the heavens opened, and the angels sing, oh, and life changed.
Yeah. I had a pretty similar experience, and that's why I can really relate, because when I first learned about human design, I thought it was a bunch of woo-woo shit. I was not into it. I had made it, up until that time, not needing to know how to read the stars and not needing to know what my horoscope was. And I didn't really believe in any of that stuff. And I quickly looked at it and I thought, what the fuck is this skeleton thing? And what is a projector? And how is that only 20% of the population? No, like I'm a winner. I'm not 20% of the population. Like this is ridiculous. And then it wasn't until a year later when I was, kind of in the midst of an identity crisis, and I was really committed to healing unresolved childhood trauma and wanted to step more boldly into my leadership. And I was being told constantly, lean back, feminine and masculine energetics, don't live from a place of scarcity. And I'm like, well, if all of these coping mechanisms that I've used up until now apparently are bad, even though they brought me to where I am now, but who the fuck am I without the grittiness, without the outworking everyone, without running after the shiny objects to prove my worth and value to the world like I've been doing since a kid? And at that point, I became so quote unquote desperate that I was like, you know what? I'll go back to the fucking stars. I'll go back to the skeleton grid, like tell me something. Cause I felt like anyone who's had a hermit crab will know that you have to buy bigger shells for your hermit crab, because after a while their hermit crab gets full of shit and they leave the shell that they've been living in. And then now they're kind of naked and they're running out there looking for their next shell. But if you don't have a shell in the little cage, they're going to die. So I was out there running around looking for my new shell. And it was at that moment that I was like, I'm going to go fucking learn about this human design thing. So I hired a coach and I spent 4 weeks or whatever it was with her. And at the end of that, I just thought, wow, like all of these things that I always thought were wrong with me or didn't make sense, or I couldn't relate. I thought I had to be someone I wasn't. You mean you're to tell me this was all a lie? And then I became certified in it, and it just changed my whole life. But I didn't start because I was a woo-woo girly. I started because I wanted answers and I didn't know where else to find them.
And then you won at a next level.
Okay. And what level was that?
Oh, by the way, she has a book too, y'all. She wrote a fucking book. Like
I have
two books. Did I know you have 2 books? I have one of yours.
Really?
Yeah.
I have the memoir.
Yeah, I have the memoir.
Have you read the memoir?
I'm halfway.
Okay. What do you think so far?
Well, love it, clearly.
I didn't even know you were reading it.
Yeah, I have it. I'm halfway. I'm now in, because I'm in a course for certification. So all my own books are on the side now, because I have to read all the curriculum books. But yeah, love it. Love that you wrote a memoir. So foster system, poverty to filthy rich. What do we need to know?
Well, you can be and do anything in this lifetime for sure. And one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how did you go from growing up without running water to being someone that has created over 7 figures, that has created numerous businesses, that has lived in various countries, done things that were completely against the norm? Like, I'm in my early 20s in the Cavalli Club in Dubai selling gold wrapped cigars. That was like a normal day for me. And I just knew, and I think you can relate to this too, Bara, and I think anyone else listening can relate. I just knew where I came from was like not it. I was just like, whatever is going on here, I think as long as I just do the opposite, like I'm going to get opposite results. And I just always knew that I was meant for a bigger life. I was meant to have bigger impact. I believe that if I could survive that, like I really could survive anything. And anyone that's gone through childhood trauma, the survivor in us really kind of becomes our personality. And it's great. It helps you get ahead in life and in business and making money. It's not so great in your relationships. It's not so great in your relationship with yourself. And so if there's anything I would tell someone about where it is that you want to go, it's remembering it's not where you come from that matters. It's where you think you can go next. It doesn't matter if you have a 100-year plan, like a 1-year plan is already more than 99% of the population. You're going to do everything fucking afraid. That's the whole point. But the more that you can compound that courage, that's where you're going to build your confidence. Just like the more commitments you keep to yourself, that's where you're going to build your confidence. And we've never lived in a better time to truly understand who we are at our core. And the reason why this matters is because it makes the whole process, it makes the whole game, it makes the whole experience a lot more fun. It makes it a lot more nurturing. We're no longer, at war with ourselves, with our bodies, with the people that are coming into our life that we're saying we want to have healthy relationships with, but then we're not, because we're probably not the healthiest version of ourselves. And so I find that the moment you can change your thought, decide that a year from now, your life is going to look completely different, and then really take full ownership of what you are, the common denominator in all aspects of your life, and get really clear on how you operate and what's important to you and why it matters, and being able to unapologetically own that from a place of, I'm going to inform you. It's not here for permission, but this is like the new boundaries. These are the new terms and conditions for this next version of me. This is where I find this new, it clicks into place a lot easier than us just forcing and working hard and thinking it's a hustle and a grind. That's not really required, especially starting next year as we go into a new paradigm and we're really uniquely ourselves and we're trusting ourselves more than we ever have.
You're a 1-3 line too, right? Am I?
Yeah.
Okay. So 1-3 lines have lived 17 million lives.
Yeah.
And not by virtue of like dipping their toes. Like no. They've lived. And right. And the first response that the normies give that is that, how did you live so much life? That's not possible. I barely lived one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I had a friend tell me, you do more in 1 year than what people do in their lifetime.
Word.
And of course, when she said that, there was a part of me that was like, well, isn't that what we should all be doing? Like, I didn't realize that was a strength of a 3 line. I'll also never forget pivoting and having friends being like, can't you just stick to one thing? Don't you think this looks kind of like bad that you can't just see this through? I'm like, what do you mean see it through? It's been 7 fucking years. I've already mastered this. I've hit a glass ceiling. I've become the best in the industry. Like, it's time to grow and evolve. But you know what we don't talk about as 3 lines is that really humbling period where you go from being someone to no one.
Yo.
And then you go all the way up again.
And you responded to my reel when I made it. I'm like, when I just got into the coaching industry, I still have this arrogance. I'm like, y'all mean to tell me you do not know who I am?
Yeah.
Like, I've been on all TV shows. I've been in all, y'all do. What do you mean you don't bow to me?
What do you mean you're not in this program? Don't you know who I am and what I've done? Yeah, it's very humbling. Very, very humbling.
How did you... So one thing that stood out when you said in regards to your upbringing that you were from very early on, like, this ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you navigate, people saying like, you're here to make one career at max, right? You like go to school, work really hard to have maybe one hobby, like you focus on this one thing, seeing it through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did you navigate being so different from the rest?
I think because I didn't really have a lot of people in my life. I mean, when I think about, I had my mom up until I was 12, and her whole thing was, you better hope that you stay pretty enough until you get married. And I remember wanting to go into hotel and restaurant management. That was actually what I went and got a degree in. And I'll never forget when I told her that, she just said, oh, well, you better hope that you make enough money before you get ugly and they throw you away. Like, this was definitely her opinion of like how I was going to be successful.
How East European of her.
Yeah, I would say narcissist, but we'll go with Eastern European. And so I just decided life was going to look different for me. You know, I never planned to be an entrepreneur at all. Like, my father was an entrepreneur. I do think that's a gene. I don't think everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. I think we've really glamorized it. I think we've kind of baited people in the belief that, oh, but you have all this freedom and this time and, you know, you can make X amount of money and there's no cap. And while all those things are very true, not everyone is built for the amount of risk and the amount of emotions you have to hold to be an entrepreneur and to make shit happen, the amount of leadership that's required. Not everyone is a leader. In order to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a leader. And
Look at all this freedom. You can have a panic attack at 2 a.m. just
Yeah.
because you have no idea what's going on.
You don't know how you're going to pay your bills tomorrow? It's fine. Like, it's no problem. So going back to your question, I actually did the things I thought I was supposed to do. So, you know, I went and got the degree. I knew education was going to set me apart. And honestly, education was the thing that equaled my playing field with people, let's say, more privileged than me. I had a great education. I talk about it in my memoir. I had an incredible sponsor who helped me pay for private schools. And then I went and got into the corporate space, and being the overachiever I got an insane corporate job out of school. I moved to Dubai, got married, and then I got the upgrade, right? The corporate upgrade. Like, you get to climb the corporate ladder now. And I remember sitting there telling my boss at the time that I was like, you know, this offer is so shit that I could move back to the States and work at McDonald's and make more money than what you're actually offering me right now. And it was in that moment that I was just like, what am I doing with my life? While at the same time, I had started building up my modeling career. I would go on my lunch breaks. I would go do shoots on the weekend. I would take days off, and I was making more on a shoot than I would make the entire month at this job. So I started thinking, well, there's something here. And then I just quit. You know, 2012, I quit employment. I didn't really have a plan. And I remember standing in front of my closet going, well, shit, what do I wear now? You know, I don't have a job to go to. Like, what do I wear? And everything just kind of started falling into place. And I just became very opportunistic. And I wouldn't consider myself a competitive person, but whenever I tell anybody that, they just laugh. So I think I'm always just in competition with myself. And it's like, well, what else can we do? Like, how else can we look at this? Like, what's a bigger idea that we can bring to the table? And so again, I think that is a 3-line. I think that is a really healthy 3-line who doesn't need to have a 12-step plan because they know they're going to figure it out, because failure is not an option. And that is one thing I have learned with 3 lines is like, we are not afraid of failing. We are just like, we're going to get it done. And that's that. Failure is not an option.
Give me or give us, like, I know obviously because I've been learning from you, amazing yourself. Give the listeners a like short synopsis of the lines, what they mean.
Okay.
Because you and I are both 1-3.
Yeah. So I'll do the lines because there's a lot of profiles and this gets a little tricky. If you're a 1-line, meaning you have a 1-line in the beginning of your profile or the second number of your profile, it means you're the expert. So you have expertise on something. You're the first person that is going to be sitting at the dinner table and someone can't remember the actor's name, and you're going to be like Googling and you're going to find the name. You can't sit there and not know. So you're always learning, you're obsessed with learning, you're always buying new courses, you're investing in yourself. People around you don't understand. They're like, really? You need another course on this? Really? Well, haven't you already read a book like that? Like, but as a 1-line, you're constantly absorbing information. As a 2-line, you're a hermit. You love to have your own space. You love to be inwards, but you're also very naturally gifted. It's like easy breezy genius. You can't really explain why you pick up that camera and now you're the most sought after photographer. You can't really explain how you just started putting flowers in a vase and suddenly you have 4 hotel accounts. Like, it just comes naturally to you. As a 3-line, you're trial and error. You're like, if I'm not falling on my face every single day, I'm not trying hard enough. Like, I'm literally going to figure this shit out. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. Like, I just want to learn more. I want to experience more. I want to be in the nitty gritty. I need to see this through. I always say kids that have 3 lines, they were the type of kid that if you told them the stove was hot, they were going to slam their hand on it to make sure that it was actually hot. You know, if you were replacing a light bulb and the socket was still on and you were told don't stick your finger in the socket, you're like, let me stick 2 fingers in this socket. I just want to see how this works. That is the life of a 3 line. As a 4 line, community. It's all about your people. It's like your network is your net worth. That phrase is specifically for 4 lines. They love pouring into their community. All of their money, all their opportunities come from their people. They're always, quote unquote, good in sales because they're connecting the dots. They're bringing people into their world. As a 5th line, you're always being projected on. You're the person that has all the answers. Nobody can really explain why, but they just think you're going to fix things. They just think that you're going to come in and solve the problems. And you feel that pressure from day one. You don't really know why people see you this way, but you're like, okay, let me show up and make it happen. And then as a 6th line, you go through 3 different iterations. Like basically when you grow up to about 30, you're living life as a 3 line, trying a lot of shit out, bumping into things. It's not really working. You're getting a bit frustrated. Then between 30 and 50, you're kind of taking those lessons, you're implementing them, you're kind of deciding how you would do it differently. And then 50 onwards, you become basically the wise sage. You've integrated everything. You become our role model. So people want to learn from you because you've been through it all and you found an easier way. And now you make life easier for everyone else. So those are the 6 lines. So if anyone listening, you know, you're a 1-3 or a 2-4 or a 3-6, like you can kind of just understand what your profile is based on those line summaries.
And will you give just a short overview of the types? So we have, I'm a manifestor, you're a projector. By the way, everyone listening, if you're listening to this and first of all, I need y'all to follow Franceska everywhere. She has a super cool membership that's low entry. It will blow you. Like, look, this is what I'm gonna tell you. If you're not ready to fucking blow up your life in the best way possible, just fucking stop listening to this podcast right now. Yeah. Franceska is gonna like rock your world. And you're gonna cry. Like when I had my call with her the first time, I did the ugly cry, the ugly cry where you go like, holy shit, she's ugly when she's crying. Like I have zero shame about that.
You're so beautiful.
Like, you know, the ugly cry. Zero shame. Shame doesn't live in the body here. But like completely that opened up such a huge level. Y'all know I'm a fucking skeptic. So when I say this shit, I need y'all to fucking follow suit.
Thank you, Vera. Thank you.
Main different types.
Okay, so there's 5 different energy types. We've got the generators and the manifesting generators. This is roughly 50-50, but together they make up 70% of the population. So and we call them the energy beings. The reason why we call them the energy beings is because they literally create their own energy. So why do we need them in alignment? Because they're fucking creating energy for the collective. And if they're burnt out and they're frustrated and they're pissed off, guess what kind of energy we get? Versus when they're juicy and they're sparkly and they're turned on and they're like, oh my God, more of this, please. Yes, yes, yes. They're all revved up. We feel that on a collective level. So if you're a non-energy being, meaning you're a manifestor, a projector, a reflector, you live in a generator world. So you have been conditioned to operate like a generator. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just we didn't have the amount of information that we have today. But there's a reason why a lot of things have felt hard. There's a reason why a lot of the beliefs, like you have to be consistent, you have to have a slow grind, you have to hustle. Like there's a lot of reasons why this does not really work for projectors, manifestors, and reflectors, because we have our own way of doing things. But as non-energy beings, we are roughly 30% of the population. So we don't have one that modeled as much for us. And 2, we don't have the proof or really the skills to understand, well, if I'm not hustling, if I'm not grinding 24/7 and being consistent, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Because this is the only way to be successful, right? And now we're seeing no. I mean, if once you know about your energy type, which then comes with your signature and comes with your not self theme, which really helps. I call it like the bumper, the bumpers on the bowling alley. It kind of keeps you in your lane. Then you understand how you're meant to operate and show up and utilize your energy according to your human design.
You know what you need to do, by the way? You need to make a series on the Talk of the Ticks, about which energy design certain countries are.
Oh, yeah.
Because like America is clear. What is America actually?
I would say America's like a manifesting generator. Like it's
I
just
think, yeah,
fucking
like,
Energizer Bunny. Yeah, exactly.
let's fucking
Exactly.
go.
It was
Yeah.
like that reel I did about the vacation spots according to human design, and it was, I think, manifestors were going to like Japan or something, and I was like, no. When I think of manifestor, I think of a Dubai. You don't ask for permission. You're bold as fuck. You go and initiate. You blaze your own trail, and like people are either going to come or they're not, and you could care less.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You need to. They're so
More of
good.
those.
Yeah. So which country is what? Because like, so the traditional school that we have in America, like elementary, then what is it, middle school, high school? I don't
Yeah.
fucking know y'all system.
Yeah.
That's made which energy type thrives in that or could thrive in that?
I really think the only energy type that could thrive would be a generator, because generators love to have structure and they love kind of that slow build. But to be honest, like that kind of school system doesn't really work for anyone, because generators really need something to respond to. They need to feel lit up in their sacral. That's what makes them a generator. And sitting for 8 hours a day is not going to make anyone fucking feel lit up. So I would say that's why we're seeing a shift. A lot of kids are now being homeschooled, world schooled. We're really questioning the education happening post high school. So your university, your colleges, how important is it to really have a college degree moving forward? A lot of this is being challenged, and it's because for a very long time we have felt energetically that this way of educating ourselves is not serving us in the future.
Yeah. Word. What is your before I go, what your current level and former level looks like? What does your next level look like?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I definitely won't be in Germany. That's clear.
Germany isn't it for you?
No, it's not.
Where's the tension?
I would just say, so I'm going to preface that my father was German. I have a German passport. Like I speak, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. It's just it's not a country I find energetically that you come to thrive in. The mentality here is very crab in the box. If you put one crab in a box, it'll climb out. But if you put two or more crabs in the box, they keep all the crabs in the box. They just pull them all back in the box. And it has this mentality of, I work, it's very entitled. I work hard. I pay my taxes. Therefore, you know what? Fuck my company. I'm going to take a month off, and because I have burnout, and I'm going to milk the system, even though I do fuck all at my job. They feel very entitled to rights, but yet no one is a really like a big thinker. Nobody take risks. There's a phrase.
Almost as if socialism doesn't work.
No, there's a phrase that's like, oh, that's not possible. That's not for me. That's what one does. Everything is, they have outsourced their power. And it's just not a place you thrive. When you go to America, there's this energy of you can be whoever you want to be here. You might have to work 5 jobs. You might have to come up with a shitload of money. You might not live in the best circumstances, but you know what? If you want to hustle and you want to grind and you want to put in the work and you believe that you can have a greater life, we're going to sell you the American dream. That is the energy of America. Energy of Germany is like, don't be too loud. Don't say too much. Follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, yeah, you're a horrible person. And it's just not a place that you thrive. I feel like when I moved here, my soul died. So for me, it's, my heart is set on Paris. But it looks like we might move to Mallorca instead, which, I can't be mad about living on a Spanish island. And
Mallorca is amazing. Yeah.
And it has good energy.
Why not Ibiza?
I haven't been to Ibiza, but what I love about Mallorca is it has a really strong expat community. It's kind of like if Dubai and Paris had a baby. It's like, it's very, you're very Mallorquín, you're on an island, but you have big thinkers. All the Germans that don't want to pay taxes, they live in Mallorca. Everyone's looking to innovate something. They've prioritized lifestyle. So for me, I think what would be ideal is Paris, Mallorca, or Paris, Dubai. Obviously, things aren't really great in Dubai at the moment. And then having some sort of home base in Switzerland, because it's just my family's in Switzerland. It's always been kind of, now that it's like right here, feels like in the backyard. I just know that I don't have plans to come back to the States anytime soon. So the
That was my next question.
In Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my heart cries. Like, you're not coming back to the US. Oh no.
Well, I'll be in Mexico next month. Just come see me there.
Dude, everyone, she's doing a retreat. Like, is it a one-on-one retreat? Should I?
Yeah, it's a
is that the
VIP
right
day.
wording? I was like, because I don't have my green card yet, so I can't leave the country. That's the only reason why I didn't sign up. Otherwise, I would have like been there like yesterday with you. No, yeah.
Oh.
That's the only
well, maybe we'll have to do, if I make it to the States, I might go to Houston first. If I come to the States first, and maybe we have some other chat offline.
Yes. Okay, so
and you're getting married, obviously. That's like big shit happening.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
We don't forget. So we have the next level. You have a rough sketch like. So one thing that I love that you help people with so much is that I feel like the Love and Gaslight community online has created this narrative on how you're supposed to dream. Like there's even this is the right way to dream, right? So it's like a vision board. It's right. It's the affirmations. It's the, I don't know, fucking tapping until you're bruised, whatever the fuck it is, right? And you're like, well, no. Hold my glass. Let me tell you the real way to dream.
Yeah. It's funny because obviously being a business owner since 2012, I have found myself in many vision board parties, right? And we always kind of did it. I say we, it makes it sound like I did it every year. But when I think back to the times I did it, I was usually surrounded with really driven, incredible women, that had brick and mortar businesses, that had employees. It's one thing to be in the online space, and I'm not here to dig that. Like I obviously love the online space. I love the lifestyle it provides you. But there's a completely different level of responsibility when you own a brick and mortar. 1, you have a building. 2, you've got fucking inventory. 3, you've got clients that you're literally in front of physically on a daily or weekly basis. Yep. You're not hiding behind a keyboard or an Instagram DM, right? Or an email. And you've got fucking employees that have families that pay their bills with your leadership and how you're able to build a company.
It's way higher in responsibility.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so when I got into the online space, I just thought, well, this is going to be a fucking walk in the park because like this other shit is actually difficult. And being in these rooms, doing these vision boards with these people, we always kind of thought, well, this is cute. Nobody was really building a company based off of vision board. And it wasn't until I started learning about human design and I noticed that my husband and we would argue about silly things like, oh, in the next house, I would be like, in the next house, I see the kitchen like this. I picture these specific cabinets, this specific color, this island. I see a window here. And he would be like, no, I just want it to feel good. I just want it to feel open. I just want there to be good energy. And I'd be like, you got to be more specific than that. Right? Like how many times have we turned around to our partner who shares something that we just completely don't agree with? And we're like, oh, no. Like you're obviously wrong because you don't see it my way. And when I started learning about human design and learning that there's 2 different ways to manifest, one is a very specific way, meaning you see all the details make you feel safe. One is non-specific, meaning you don't give a fuck about details. You're never going to go to a vision board party. You don't know where you're going to be 6 months from now. Like you don't really care. You just want it. What you want it to feel like. You kind of like, you can kind of envision it high level. And it was in that moment that I was like, God, no wonder so many people in business think the way is journaling your way there or vision boarding your way there. And it's like half the population don't operate like that. So once again, we're living in this generator, very specific way of manifesting world. And I'm like, if there's one thing I can reassure you, it's like we all manifest differently. And you're either going to be very specific in what that looks like, or you're going to be high level about it. And both are perfect.
Yes. See, and Franceska will teach you all about how to properly manifest.
Yeah. And you can't fuck it up, like newsflash.
Right. Can't fuck it up because then if you get again anxiety, it's like, oh my God, I'm not even doing this manifesting right.
No, you're going to be fine.
take me through the thoughts and the feelings as an adult during one of your lowest moments. You don't have to describe the scene at all, by the way. I'm just thinking, you if you can, you want, but I'm just going for the thoughts and the feelings.
Yeah. So it wasn't like one particular moment. I would say it was an extended period of time. And I feel like this is really important because, again, if you've gone through any kind of childhood trauma and you make it out and then you become successful, and we already know life of a 3-line, we have success over and over again. But we kind of think that we're immune to struggle. We feel like we've already paid our dues.
Woo! So that's my fucking phrase. I've already paid, motherfuckers. Leave me alone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Woo!
So when it shows up again, there's this part of us that starts to panic that we somehow have done something wrong. We've made a mistake. And we're not really able to look at it as in this is life, up and down on the way up. And yes, there's going to be a time where maybe the low isn't so low in this one area, but it'll be low in something else, right? So like maybe it won't be around your finances, but it'll be around that you miscarried your first child, like which is worse. And I always say, like, whenever we put our problems into the middle of a room, we'll want to pull our problems back, right? Because we'll be like, oh shit, this is actually really not that bad, but it feels really bad in the moment. So when I decided to write my memoir, I feel like everything kind of collapsed in my world. I was recovering from COVID. In the sense of losing a business that I was the main breadwinner of. I was heavily investing in myself because I thought if I could be really successful on my own, because I had the belief that if you needed a business coach, you didn't need to be in business. Like if you needed someone to hold your hand and help you build something, you fucking needed to go get a job. And so I had like a lot of just like superiority around that. So when COVID happened, my business essentially went, collapsed overnight. And I was like, okay, I'm going to rebuild something, but I'm not going to rebuild that. I already know how that works. But you know what? If I could create like 7 figures with that, surely if I go and invest in all these other people, they're going to get me there faster. Like I'm just going to go, it's like paying the bouncer at the club. Like you're just going to cut the line, right? And I quickly realized over a period of time that the investments were not paying off, that I had started writing this book, which I thought would take me 4 months. It took me 2 years. I was not prepared for the hit that it took on my nervous system. I was not prepared to live a dual continent life financially. So I was supporting 2 home bases around the world. Ooh. And it just all kind of collapsed like fall 2023. And this is when I moved to Germany permanently. So that was a whole nother layer. I had a smear campaign online for my family because my book was published. And it was just, I didn't have a lot going for me. It was the first time in my life that I had really hit a financial rock bottom. And part of me wonders if it happened because I was like, I'm going to be the first millionaire, multimillionaire in my family. I'm going to be the first person that creates generational wealth. So I need to decondition the fear around what happens when it runs out. And because I never want to be a rich, poor person. I think we can think of a lot of rich, poor people that act like they're poor, but they've got millions in the bank. And so I felt like that caught up with me in fall of 2023. I was like, I don't even know how to make minimum payments on a credit card. I have to think about when I'm going to go to the grocery store. And this was so incredibly humbling for someone who had built previous businesses completely self-sufficient. And it just felt like nothing was working. Nothing. It didn't matter how much I posted or sent emails or did live or whatever the thing was. Like it wasn't that I was not committed. And it was in that moment to go and answer your question, like what's something I've really been through that I want to share. I asked myself if I was committed, no matter what was one more thing that I could do? And that kept me going for a very long time. And some days it was like, if I don't quit today, then I win. And that was literally all I did that day. I was like, if I just don't quit, if I just don't quit, if I just keep going. But it was terrifying to be in a financial position like that, and the same thing was happening to my husband at the exact same time. So we both, I mean, he was having all kinds of shit going on in his business that we had never, I mean, things that you could never think of. Like, honestly, it could be a movie. And it was just like, why the fuck is this happening? And it made us really appreciate basics. It made us get really real with ourselves about how there was shit to still clean up. And if we were really going to be this next version of ourselves, we were really going to do this up level, we had to take some inventory. And you know what? That takes time. It takes time for your nervous system to catch up. It takes time for people to know who you are. It takes time for you to become really good at your skill set. And most people just quit here. And I'll still never forget, like, looking at jobs and being like, well, shit, I can't take this job because I actually make more money than this. It's not enough. And it just, anyone going through something like this, it feels horrible, especially if you've ever tasted success. But I would just say, you're going to be tested along the way. Again, whether it's a financial thing like this, or losing a child, or having a freak accident, like this is life. And we have these things that come up, and it's just like, we have to ask ourselves at the end of the day, like, how can I be committed no matter what? If there was just one more thing I could do, how could I be committed no matter what? And that has really pulled me out of my darkest hours.
It's interesting how I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs have a similar, right? Where it's just like, what can I just do to like get through today? How similar it is to addiction recovery, by the way, right? As an alcoholic, it's just the next moment that counts. You're not playing, not tomorrow, not next week, just what can you do in this moment? And can you be one more day, or can you be one more hour sober? Can you be one more? It's the same mindset.
Wow.
Like, so and I found it actually really empowering that that's like, yes, like there's something, there's a red thread there that we need to figure out at one point. So with that being said, take us through the highest moments. And I know your highest moments, like your next highest moments, are still coming. Right?
Yeah.
So when you come from poverty and when you've done the up and down, the highest moments. So the first time highest moments is just like, you're kind of like, it's like a high, like fucking buzzy energy, right? It's like cocaine, Red Bull, and coffee together. Don't do cocaine, kids.
We don't approve.
No drugs. But then you went through the cycle. So what do the high moments feel and look like, think like?
Okay, so I'm going to do a pre-human design and a post-human design high, because they're completely different. So the pre-human design was still beating myself. There is a phrase in a song. I told you about this the other day. I think it's by Lost Frequencies. No, whatever. It says, whip, whip, whip me like a racehorse. And that is absolutely how I operated. And so I'll never forget when I landed my first hotel account. Today, it was over $100,000 guaranteed money for the year. That's huge for someone who has started a floral design business, moved continents, was new in a city. I'd been on this hotel for about a year, and I needed it. I was on the verge of closing my doors, and I got it, and I was like elated. I was very, very excited. And then it fueled this addiction of, how do I get more? And then I won a Tiffany & Co. account, and I had all 7 stores for the state of Texas. I mean, that's a huge fucking deal. And I'll never forget driving into my driveway and turning off my car. And my first thought was, what's next? What's next? It's always, what's next? What else can I do? There was no congratulations. There was no let's go celebrate. It was like, okay, of course you got this, but what's the next thing you're going to get? And it became this addiction to achievement. And it was at that time I was like, oh, I think I have a problem. I think I have a problem here. So that was pre-human design. I didn't allow myself to really feel joy or success. It just became an expectation, which made me very unhappy. And then when I got into the online space and I started having things really take off, it was very unsettling in my nervous system to look down and have made like $2,000 or $3,000 in a minute, and then $2,000 or $3,000 in another minute. I was like, oh my God, like, what if they're not happy? And post-human design now, when a sale comes in, or like a highest cash day, January of this year. So just to give everyone context, November of 2025, I really started owning the fact that, you know what, I can fucking help women in business with their human design and understand how to have better businesses. I'm doing the world a disservice by playing small. And so I fully own that. So basically, like 0 to my first $20,000 month, $21,000 month in January. So 90 days. When that happened in January, I was so excited, not for myself, but I was so excited that I got to do something every day that I'm like so obsessed with. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like I get to help all these people. Holy shit. Like, how do I even give more? And even I have a signature program, and I was talking to my own mentor about it. And I was saying, hey, I know I'm selling this second cohort that's starting in May, but like I feel disconnected from it. Like I need to know my people. It's like I knew people and they got in the program, and this is where most coaches would tell you, oh yeah, just lean back. But I was like, I want to be in it. Like I want to be able to answer their questions. Like, so now the big highs, they feel like a mutual success because I feel recognized for my genius. It helps me really feel purposeful, that my guidance, my wisdom is appreciated in the spaces that I've cultivated. And I know the byproduct is that my clients are becoming more confident. They're making more money. They have more clarity. They feel more connected to themselves than ever before. And I'm like, a testimonial, and you'll know this, Bara, a testimonial any day beats a Stripe link, like a Stripe notification. We love notifications. Obviously, we love to pay our bills. We love to invest. We love to think about what the next thing is going to be. But for me, it's like post-human design, the true highs are like the days I feel most successful. And sometimes just like a podcast review. And that feels amazing.
Right.
Not that I'm going to pay my bills with podcast reviews, but you know where I'm going with
no, that's a fucking, we're not poor people here. Fuck that shit. Dripping in gold and diamonds, baby, while helping and supporting the world. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the biggest challenges for people, and you and I obviously had private conversations about this a lot, but perhaps you can elaborate on that since you're in it right now. How do you, I have to find the wording.
Mm-hmm.
How do you hold the energy of your vision and the momentum when your surrounding world, environment, or circumstances feel like they're constantly attacking you, i.e. they're not aligned, right? For your...
Yeah.
By the way, this could be relational, right? Like if your husband, like I know your husband is an entrepreneur. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Right. So, but you can have like just a high earning husband or partner. For the male listeners, and you just have a wife that has a different dynamic, and that could be the environment, right? That they just don't see the entrepreneurial vision that you naturally hold in yourself. So whether it's living in a country or a partner or family or whatever it is.
Yeah. There's always going to be something. Unless you're living completely on your own and you're in a perfect environment. And then I love that for you, because that's like, kind of the goal, that we're in optimized environments. Our environment is very, very important. Who your partner is, who your spouse is heavily going to dictate your money mindset. What environment you're living in is heavily going to dictate how successful you are, because it's like, how lit up do you feel? How fully expressed do you feel? How much sunlight are you getting during the year? I mean, even really fucking basic things that aren't so basic, they're required. But two things that I have learned. The first one is nobody is responsible for making my dreams happen but me, which means that nobody's buy-in is required. And a lot of times we want to outsource our power to someone else. We want to have them validate our idea. We want them to tell us we're doing a good job. We want them to get it, right? We want them to get what we're doing. That's not their job. Their job as our partner is not to fully understand our business. That would be a CEO's job. That would be maybe an employee's job. Your partner's job, if we're just going to use that as an example, is to support you. And it's when you're having a bad day, is to be there to say, hey, what can I do for you? Can I rub your feet? Do you want to talk about it? I don't get it, but I don't need to get it. I don't need to fix you. I'm here to witness you. I'm here to hold you, whatever the thing is. So we have to stop outsourcing our need for other people to buy into our dreams. It's actually a very selfish thing. Because when we do that, it means that we take less responsibility, because now we can make it about someone else, right? Well, you didn't support me. You didn't believe in me. You made me feel bad about myself. No. You let that happen because you outsourced your power. So I always say, I don't need anyone to understand me. I barely can understand myself. So I don't know how I'm going to expect someone else to understand me. The second thing is like when you're holding that energy and you don't have proof yet, and that is faith. Faith is believing without proof. You just decide, and I know for some of you, you're going to roll your eyes, but fucking try it for 48 hours and thank me later. You're just going to decide that it's done. You're going to decide that it's already happened. And believe me, I have had a very love-hate relationship with this. I know we've talked about it on a previous call where it's like, you know, I can journal out all day long. Like I made $21,000 a day. I made $21,000 a day. You know, I do all the things. I check all the boxes. But if you don't like actually believe it in your body that it's this or something better, it's not going to happen. You can journal your way there all day long. It's just not going to happen. So if you can decide it's done, and you can picture in your head how you would like it to be done, but knowing it's going to show up that way or a different way, or maybe it's that way, but maybe it's not tomorrow, maybe it's 1 week from now. If you can completely detach from the delivery of it, that you're like, I know this is done. I don't know how it's done. I don't need to know how it's done, but I'm going to allow myself to feel relief that I don't need to worry about this thing, because I know if I can feel relief, I'm going to be way more magnetic for the things that I want versus like fucking stress out and anxiety all the time, because guess what? I'm just going to get more of that. So I'm relieved. I know this is always working out in my favor. I know that everything has to arrange itself. It's not all about me. You know, it's about other people on this planet. They also have their, you know, relationship with the universe and their beliefs and all the things. But what I have found that happens is, even if it's not like the thing at the time that you want it, you will all of a sudden get, maybe it's not the big sale, maybe it's 3 little sales. Maybe it's not the debt paid off in full, but it's like 5 new people that are obsessed with your podcast. You know, it's like things are always coming your way, but you're going to get more of that the moment you just decide it's done. I feel so good about this. And the reason why this is important is the moment that you go, it's done, you start to work your way backwards. You're like, okay, well, if I knew this was done, I knew this was sold out, I knew these spots were taken, I knew whatever, what were the steps that I took to make that happen? And now all of a sudden you're reverse engineering something. So now your creativity is going, you're now probably showing up, let's take in the online space, you're doing more content, you're speaking more openly about it, you're speaking with more conviction, you're bolder, you're sending more emails because you already know it's done. Versus when you go, well, you know what, it hasn't happened yet. It's not going to happen. Fuck this. I'm not sending another email. I don't have time for this. Well, yeah, no shit. You're never going to see results. So it's deciding no one's buy-in is required for your success, and that the thing you want is already done. It's already on its way to you.
Are you religious?
I do believe in God and the universe, but I had, and you'll read in the memoir, one of my foster families were like diehard Catholics, and I actually had to be baptized in order for them to speak to me. Otherwise, I would have been the devil. And so I was raised with a lot of Catholicism, but shame and control around women's bodies, around what was allowed, what wasn't allowed, confession, all of those things, to the point where like, I don't even really know when I lost my virginity. I was like so in denial about it. But I was a diehard, I would say, Catholic, because that's what I was taught. I even was like, oh, maybe I'll become a nun. You know, maybe I'm the chosen one. And then my first days in college, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? I was in church. I just got up and I left. I was like, no. I was like, Jesus is everywhere. God is everywhere. And it wasn't again until probably 2020 when I started learning about the universe and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, this all kind of makes sense now.
Yeah.
So I think there's one way to look at it. But no, I'm not rolling to church every weekend.
No. I always say, because I have the same, grew up super Catholic, obviously, in East Europe, and then became like super averse to religion. Like, fuck y'all. Y'all are dumb. Everyone who believes in floating sky daddy, Jesus Lord, ironically. And now I'm like, Jesus is the homeboy. Definitely still not religious.
Yeah.
And other gods, whichever God, right?
I think there's some nice moments, like let's say Christmas or Easter, but like I just, when I think back to religion, and even to this day, like, you know, anytime I get massive hate online, I'm like, I can almost guarantee that Jesus is mentioned in your bio and you have something like something like hope in your handle, you know, or joy or peace, you know, but you're like the least peaceful, joyful, hopeful person I've ever met, even if like it's just been on the internet. So I just find there's a lot of hypocrisy behind religion. I think it helps people be really entitled, AKA hateful or judgmental. And it's just not really something that I identify with at this point in my life.
Right. before I ask the like closing questions, what are some of your predictions about business space, world,
Oh,
what, anything?
oh, I love this. Okay. Um, there's a lot of fear mongering obviously going on with AI, with doomsday, with wars. We are going to see, I think, a lot of, for the first time on the ground in the US, potential warfare, either between the states or being attacked. I would say that's going to happen in July. I think that in the States is going to be a really rough time between now and 2030 up to 33. Um, I think we're already feeling it in many different ways. I would say a prediction in the coaching space that there's a whole new rise of leaders that are coming to play, and they have felt this calling their entire life. They're not in it for the money in the sense of like, oh, get rich quick, or like this seems easy, but they're like, I actually want to help people. I have a legacy to bring forward. I really want to make a difference. These people have been preparing for this for a very long time. We're going to enter the day and age of the individual. So no longer are collective tribes or constructs or cultural ways of being or toxic family systems going to be tolerated. We've already seen a huge breakdown in that already over the past couple of years, but we're definitely like, that's just not even going to be something that we're going to experience after next year. We really have to know who we are at our core to be able to lead ourselves over the next, I would say, 5 to 7 years. If we're really serious about building something, the way that we've known success up until now is not going to be what success looks like 5 to 7 years from now. Just like as an example of this, think about like OnlyFans. OnlyFans wasn't around, what, 5 or 7 years ago, but now you have girls that are 18, the moment they turn 18, they become a millionaire overnight because they've like built up a following. And it's like, there's just weird shit happening compared to like what we used to do or know, where you're like, oh, wow, this is like a thing. Like people are getting rich off of YouTube videos, faceless Instagram accounts. That all was like very trending. I think that we're going to slowly find that is no longer as common, because I feel like with the uptick of AI, we're going to have an uptick of people wanting human connection. They're going to want to feel you on an energetic level. We're going to become a lot more telepathic. These synchronicities we have, like where we think about someone and they call us, that is going to be normal. That's not going to be weird or uncommon anymore. We are going to be speeding up with our energy, how we can feel each other. We're going to read each other's energy before we look at a video or read a caption. So it's like the more squeaky clean you can make your energy, and like really being a leader for yourself first, that is how you're really going to excel in this new paradigm in the next 5 to 7 years.
Okay, epic. Okay, so how old are you now?
I'm 38.
38. Okay, so you're 38 and you're time traveling back to your 14-year-old self. We're going to skip the past where she's like skeptical or wondering if it's really you or if it's possible.
Okay.
What are you going to tell her? That it cannot be like, fucking invest in Bitcoin or some shit. And it has to be more elaborate than just like, keep going, or I don't like a cliche phrase, even though it might be very real. What do you tell her?
Oh, wow. Well, my first thought was that you were always right. And one of the things that happened when I was doing the memoir, and honestly, writing a memoir was far more therapeutic and healing than any therapy session ever was. But when I wrote the memoir, I wrote it from the perspective of that version of me at the time. So it wasn't like, oh, let me sit down and write a chapter from my adult brain. It was constant dropping into my body, going back to that version of me, having her say, what did she need to say then that she didn't get to say? How was she able to be seen in ways that she wasn't able to be seen? And it was so surreal for me because as a child, all different ages, I had the version I am today come back to me then. And so, and in those moments, it was like, we're meant for something more. There's something bigger coming. You can live through this. You're going to be okay. You're very smart. You've got this. When I was writing the book, I was going back to that little version of me. So it was almost like I was time traveling all the time. And just the one thing over and over, it's just like, you were always right. You were right when they touched you inappropriately and you tried to brush it off that it was your fault. You were right when she shot you and you brushed it off that maybe she wasn't trying to kill you. You know, you were always right. And that is going to stay with you. And there's going to be times where you're going to want to forget that you're right. And you're going to want to kind of outsource your power and think, well, maybe these people are right. Or maybe these people know more than I do. But you're going to come back. You're going to come back. You're always going to come back to you were right. You knew. Maybe you stayed in situations or things longer than you should have, but you also learned something. You maybe met someone. You maybe were able to finally heal a part of you. Like, you really have to trust that you always know. And if you can just move with that level of self-trust and like conviction in yourself, you will always be safe. You will always be successful. You will always be happy. You will always be surrounded with the right people. And so it's just, I would just be right.
I was right. Beautiful. Oh, you.
Because what did you need to hear at 14?
Oh, leave home even earlier. I left home at 15.
Okay.
And I cut off the whole family. I went in phases, but I went full no contact. Was it 9 years ago, Monday, 27 November at 11 p.m. or something.
Okay.
That should have happened way earlier.
I do think I could have gone no contact way earlier too. Yeah,
Same.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
So I would say something to the buildup of that to my 14-year-old.
Well, then on that note, I would just tell my 14-year-old self, like, that does not get better. You do not need to prioritize this person in your life.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, and it's one of these things, like, because I'm a no contact person, and I have several no contact people around me, and I'm very anti the no contact movement as it's happening online, because it operates from this very, I'm just flawless and everyone just needs to adapt to me. No, you're a little bitch most of the time. Again, in general, not individual situations, right? So I'm not a no contact, very like advocate. And no contact individual situation is very needed sometimes.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because when I was bringing human design on the online space a few years ago, I really started with helping women kind of reclaim their personal power, especially if they had undergone childhood trauma. And I really wanted to help women go no contact, especially with narcissist mothers, very abusive mothers. But I just could never bring myself to do it, because I'm like, I'm not here to judge you. Obviously, I think going no contact is really a last resort, and it's absolutely devastating. But I don't know if I want to be responsible for that. I don't know if I want to be the person that like coaches someone through, and I don't really know how much you're telling me, and I don't really want to be responsible for, maybe helping someone break down their relationship. So I think it's very nuanced. I don't necessarily think it's a theme. For me personally, I think we've just gotten to a day and age where we don't need our families anymore. We don't need them for survival.
100%. But it got ruined by everything being trauma, right? By everything being abuse, by everyone being a narcissist, by everything being racism. Like, all these words got so overused. And there is, and I fucking hate to admit that, or no, I have no problem admitting that. I'm just being like colorful. Like, back in the day when I saw the dynamic, for example, between my mom and her husband, I was like, poor him. Because she was, aside from drugs being involved, she's abusive. I see what grandma was like, right? I see where it came from.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, but he keeps seeking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So there, as an adult, that's a different conversation from when a child, but as an adult, like, how many of those patterns, how many of these people keep seeking each other and then like love playing that person is abusive. Yeah. But you keep fucking going back, baby.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the whole no contact is so complex.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I definitely think, especially like mothers and daughters, it definitely breaks my heart, but I think there's just a level of disrespect. And it was also for me, I'm like, I can't be 100% embodied in my leadership if I know I'm entertaining abuse behind the scenes. Like, and it's not only abuse to me, it's abuse to my partner, So what does that say about my leadership in my own relationship with my mother, with my partner? How the fuck am I going to lead other people if I'm not even going to lead myself? And so was it uncomfortable? Yes. Did the police get called to my house? Yes. Did I have a smear campaign online? Yes. Like, yes, it sucks. I still to this day have things that I have to deal with that I don't want to deal with. But I've never had so much peace in my body before. I will never take it back, you know? And I just thought if I ever had a daughter, there was no way I would ever let my daughter be in the same space with this woman. And I'm like, so why are you letting your little child do this? Because your little child doesn't trust you, you know, when you do that. So if I could go back to my 14-year-old self, I think it would be, you don't need her. Stop trying to make this a priority of trying to perform for her. I probably would also say, you know, you don't need to get married to the first person that, you know, you feel loved with. I mean, I think this is amazing and I'm grateful. We had this conversation the other day, but I was like, you know, if I grew up in probably a healthy home, I wouldn't have been married at 23 to someone I met 10 months earlier that was 12 years older and was from a completely different country, you know? So has it taught me to love? Do I feel like I'm in a loving relationship? Yes. But I just think that at 14, I think I could have had different priorities and it wouldn't have just been around how do I get people to love me.
Yeah. So real. So real.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're 38 right now. Then the 49-year-old self travels to you right after this podcast.
Oh, wow.
What does she tell you?
Oh, we've made it. Like we have a beautiful pied-à-terre in Paris. We're in a very loving relationship. Maybe there's children involved. Maybe. And I don't know. We're just doing the Lord's work. I feel like that's still kind of landing for me at the moment. I still have really big ideas about how I wanted to build the Hotel Florist, which is another company I have. And I love what I'm doing on the human design side. So every time my brain wants to start making it over analytical, like, well, what are we going to do now? What's this going to look like, 2 years from now, blah, blah, blah. I just don't function like that. So I'm like, well, what do I want tomorrow to look like? And I really go by, what do I want it to feel like? How do I want to help more people? How do I want to get better at what I do? How do I want to become one of the greats in this, life of a 3 line? We're going to master it. We're going to get all the data in that 1 line. So I would just probably continue to do what I'm doing right now. I would just maybe feel a little bit more free in different areas of my life. That's crazy. It feels so far away, but I know it's like you're going to blink and you're there. But I've already done so much since 28 to 38 that if you told me at 28 I was going to be on a podcast with you talking about human design and women in business, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What does that even mean?
I don't even know what human design is. Like, this is wild. So
what's a podcast?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I thought we have a flower business. I would be very confused.
Love it. Okay, so before you're gonna go into your offers, let me sketch like a silly scenario.
Okay.
So I feel, by the way, we're right now at a cusp, is that the English word, in the world where people are gonna go even more like, oh my God, help me, country daddy, sky daddy, woo woo woo. Victim Olympics is gonna go even bigger, right? Like, and then you have the winners going even harder at winning.
Yeah.
And then you have this. And then within the winning spectrum, I'm trying to put it in the screen, within the winning spectrum, you have like small segments where people get stuck, right? You have an army of people with actual guns. Well, maybe not. We're not making it violent. This is a fun situation. And they're vouching for why your human design is the fucking shit. What are they saying?
Oh, they're saying, I've never felt more clear. I've never felt like I have more direction in my life. I've never felt like I've understood myself to the level I understand myself today. I feel like I've come back home to myself. I feel like all the things that I used to make wrong about me, it's like they're actually my superpowers. And I can't believe that I lived with so much shame for so long because I couldn't be quote unquote good enough for someone else when I was more than good enough for myself. I feel unfuckable. I know exactly how I'm meant to show up, how I'm meant to create things, how I'm meant to market and sell myself. I feel so empowered in my skill set and how I'm meant to like do something with my life. I know exactly why my soul came to earth. I know what my purpose is. I know what my life theme is. I know how to go and get it. Like, I just feel full of conviction. Like, I am fully in my power.
Hell yeah. Boom. Where can
Boom.
we find you? What are your offers right now?
Okay, so I have free trainings, which if you don't know anything about human design, you're like, I love this conversation. I kind of want to learn more. Free trainings are a great place for you to start. It's a Telegram community. Just pop in there, start clicking around, learn some shit. If you're like, no, I have questions, I kind of high level know my human design, then the hotline is for you. The hotline has over 60 women inside that are all entrepreneurs. They're like all different phases and levels of human design. There's a lot of amazing camaraderie in there. There's really good community in there. You can go in and get into your energy type and just start talking to all the manifestors or all the generators. So it's a really fun place to be. And then I would say I have a free masterclass that's coming up next week, which we'll include the link for because there'll be a replay. But that's all about the new paradigm and what leadership is actually going to look like in 2027 and beyond. But I'm going to speak specifically to how the 3 mistakes that you're making that's costing you $10,000 per month by not utilizing your human design. I'm going to just lay it out for you. So you definitely want to be in that masterclass. And then if you're like, nope, I want to take it balls to the wall, then Business by Design, you're inside Vera. Business by Design is for you. I step you through every aspect of your design. So you can go in there, you can learn about yourself, but you can also learn about your clients. You can also learn about your team members, your employees. If you want to really maximize your return on investment that you're making, that you really want to support your clients. If you're in the coaching space, like you really want to understand how they operate. One of your predictions that I have is if you don't know human design, some degree of it in 2027 beyond, you're not going to be the best coach for your clients because you can't coach everyone the same way. We really are built differently. We have the information. We need to be investing in ourselves. So that's what Business by Design is. It's 3 months long. I'm in there with you. And then there's always private coaching. But that would say, oh, and we got a D should call. Man, book a D should call with me. It's 1 hour. I'll tell you everything you need to know.
Change your life.
That's how it started with Sarah.
Those were the doggies. 1 second. Hey, yeah, Poppy's got a little bit too excited. That was the lamp flying almost a mommy. Yes.
We didn't need that lamp.
Figure out life. And is the camera coming back? Yes. Hi, hey, little boy.
Oh, I didn't realize that he was going to be part of our episode today. Hi.
Hi, Odin. Hi, Yon Yon. Yeah, so I'll put everything in the offers. Yeah, I think we touched on everything. Is there anything you still want to say?
Human design will change your life, whether you learn about it from me or you Google it and learn about it on your own.
Only from you. Don't Google that shit. Googling shit is like the doctor stuff of the internet. It's like you'll Google it and all of a sudden you have cancer. No, just go to an actual doctor you trust. That's the same with Franceska. Don't Google shit. Go to Franceska.
I was going to say, do not use ChatGPT. It is so wrong. And I don't even think I ever said anything, Bara, but I remember you did a chat something about manifestors. And I was just like, this whole thing is wrong. These people are wrong. How it breaks it down is wrong. I think I forgot. I didn't say anything. But yeah, ChatGPT, it is a hot mess express. It does not give you correct information. Do not rely on AI. I know recently someone told me that their husband was something else. And I was like, there's no way. So if you want to learn about human design, get with someone who specializes in human design, especially in business. It will change your life.
Get with Franceska, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Don't fully click away. I'll just go on live. And then everyone, rich and hydrated. This was Franceska. I need y'all, everyone to follow and like. I need you to book a D-Shoot session. It's really fucking.
It will change your life.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Happy ugly crying at the D-Shoot session. Thank you for being here, babe.
Thanks for having me. It was amazing.